Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. I know it's not snowing yet, but it's supposed to be snowing. Just a little information. This is being broadcast live. We will be taking questions and answers, comments later at the end. We have to walk around and give you the mic so you can talk into the mic, so it'll be audible. So I'd like to keep the questions and answers to the end. My name is Craig Steffen. I'm a crime prevention officer, City of Lancaster. My partner, Jim Winkie, over here, crime prevention officer. Also, just by a show of hands, how did people hear about the presentation tonight? How many people got e-blast? How many people saw the flyer? How many people saw it on TV, radio, newspaper? Good. We're just trying to see how we can get more people to come to the presentations, and thank you for coming tonight. All the information we're giving out, we have plenty of brochures at the back, extra ones, so if you want to take them to your neighbor, you know, we can train you, educate you a little bit. We'll probably get some good feedback from you tonight also, but, you know, feel free to take more home for your neighbors or friends and families so they can look at this also. Last week in the newspaper, it came out that there was a scam going on up here in the valley. We're trying to keep stuff, you know, information local as far as what's going on up here in the valley. The Sheriff's Department is aware of a problem. They're working on the problem. Some of the information that was put out in the paper was accurate and good information. They're trying to still figure out, as of a day or so ago here, what the common link is. So they are still working on it, actively working on it, so we can't make a lot of comments on that. What happens a lot of times with the ATM machines, you want to use a good ATM machine at a bank, something like that. Some of the other smaller, privately owned ATM machines, they seem to be compromised a little bit more. So if you can, try to stay away from those. On the ATM machine, what will happen sometimes, people will put on devices right on the front of the machine, and it looks professional, it looks like it's part of the machine. Whenever you go up and you're feeding your card into an ATM machine, give it a second glance. Look at it. See if something looks out of the ordinary, like there's a small attachment that is causing it to protrude a little bit more. Sometimes we'll put a device on the ATM machine, you're sliding your card, it pops it back out, and you're wondering what's going on. You slide it in again, and you complete your transaction. It'll be recording your card number and your PIN number, so you want to be very careful as you're looking at the machines. Depending on the quality of it, we've seen some where as you look at the machine, you can tell right away that, you know, something's been added on, it doesn't match, it's a different color, it just doesn't fit, it's the wrong size. Some of them are a little bit more professionally made, but what you want to do is slow down and look at that ATM machine before you put your card in there. Even at some of the banks or wherever you're going, gas stations, these people are getting more sophisticated in what they can manufacture now, but slow down and concentrate on some of this stuff. When we go out and we talk at neighborhood watch meetings, that's one of the problems we're seeing throughout society. Everybody is so busy running around doing stuff, and we always use the example that, you know, you're commuting possibly, you're running around, the kids are in soccer, you've got dinner to cook, you've got Monday Night Football, Dancing with Stars, whatever it is. Everybody's running real quick in society now. Sometimes you have to slow down when you're taking care of transactions like this. When you are checking out at the market, you know, you want to cover your PIN number. For a while we were getting into the bit where they were putting up little barricades, asking people to stand back. That went up for a while. Now it's getting the opposite, especially around the holidays. People are right next to you. Guard your PIN number. Slide your card. Guard your PIN number carefully. But look and try to look at the ATM machines and see if there's any device on there that you think is suspicious. If it is, don't use that ATM machine and notify the bank if they're open at that time, or the gas station. Walk in and say, hey, it appears there's something on the gas pump out there, and, you know, they can come out and they can inspect it and let you know if it is good or if it's not. And compare gas pumps. Look at that one and look at the other one. If they all apparently look the same, it might be good, but if one looks different than the others, that's a key thing to look at, and then you know, go in and let management know on that. On this handout here, ATM theft, did everybody get one of these handouts? If not, we have more in the back, or Jim can grab one and get it to you. If everybody's got this, we'll go over this one here. We did want to do the big PowerPoint up here because we don't want people that are not aware of how this works, the criminal element, to figure out how this works and maybe try to do something like this. But
so we're assuming that none of you are criminals.
Correct, including you, Jim. Anyway. I'll read this, just go with me and everything. This is inside a enclosed ATM machine. so they're kind of out of public sight. But in the first slide, you'll see an individual who apparently is making a bank transaction at the ATM. What he's doing is placing a trap. Now, a trap is something that they can put down inside the compartment where your card is going to go, and it's going to capture your card. So in this case, what he's doing, he's placing a trap in the ATM machine for the next card user. Altering the ATM is a risky business. These individuals work in teams. The lookout warns of possible eyewitnesses and or potential victims. Next, we've got the victim coming in. The victim comes in. He's using the ATM. The trap's in there. He inserts his card, begins his transaction. The ATM card is confiscated. The customer is confused, asking himself, why has my card been confiscated? However, here we see the cavalry coming for help. And you can imagine that, going to an ATM, you put your card in there, it's got it now, you're wondering what's going on. You know, you're confused, you're panicking, you're trying to think, okay, my money is in the bank, it's just taking my card, what am I going to do? Here comes what appears to be a good Samaritan. It's a thief pretending to help. What he's really doing is trying to gain access to the customer's PIN now that he's captured the card. The Good Samaritan convinces the customer he can recover the card if he presses his PIN at the same time. The Samaritan presses cancel and enter. Situation hopeless. They leave. After several attempts, the customer is convinced his card has been confiscated. The customer and his Good Samaritan leave the ATM at the same time. Satisfied the area is clear, the thief returns to recover the confiscated card from his trap. He not only has the card, but he also has the PIN number the customer provided unknowingly. And then next we have a picture of the trap. What they've used is made up of X-ray film, which is preferred material by thieves simply because of the black color, which is similar in appearance to the slot on the card reader. A lot of people being creative out here in the audience, you can probably think of other things they could use also to do something like this. As long as they can create a trap and get it in there and then retrieve it later, they can get the card. If they're playing the Good Samaritan and they're asking, can I have your PIN number? Let me try your PIN number while you press this. People sometimes, they won't think at the time because they're a little bit panicked. They're worried. Their card's been confiscated. They're worried about getting their money out. Here comes a Good Samaritan. They'll give out this information. The main thing in all these things, as far as all these scams, is don't give out personal information. So many of these scams, they're trying to get personal information from you. Tell the gentleman or the woman or whoever it is that's helping, okay, I'll do this, but don't look at, cover the PIN number. Do something different. Don't give out a PIN number. Notify the bank immediately of what's going on. Call them. Hopefully it's not on the weekend, but call them. Try to contact somebody at the bank and let them know your card's been confiscated. This is what's going on. Showing how they do the trap. The trap is inserted into the ATM slot. Care is taken not to insert the entire film into the slot. The ends are folded and contain glue strips for better adhesion to the inner and outer surfaces of the slot. Once the ends are firmly glued and fixed to the slot, it is almost impossible to detect the unsuspecting clients. And as you're looking at the picture, again, you can't see anything on this particular one here. It's invisible. How your card is confiscated: slits are cut into both sides of the strip of the trap. This prevents your card being returned to you prior to completing your transaction. Retrieval of the confiscated card: as soon as the customer is gone and they have your PIN number, the thief can remove the glued trap. By grasping the folded tips, he simply pulls the trap out that has retained your card. Once your card has been confiscated, observe the ATM slot and the card reader for any signs of tampering. Should you see the film tips glued to the slot, unglue, pull the trap out, and recover your card. Report immediately to the bank. So if you do see something that looks abnormal around any ATM machine, whether it's sticky, it's glue, something sticking out, it looks like something's been added to the outside, don't use that ATM. Notify whatever establishment you're at, whether it's a bank, a restaurant, whatever. Let them know, hey, this looks like it's been tampered with. Do not insert your card in there. We're seeing a lot of things throughout the nation now, because everybody's on plastic and everybody is using these ATMs day and night. Every time one scheme is found out, there's another scheme that pops open. We encourage everybody. We're going to go over a few things tonight. We have a couple DVDs to show you also, which are very informative. But educate yourself. I mean, we have a time frame to do this tonight. You're all down here. You want to learn. We're going to give you information. Some gentlemen and other people have brought in stuff to us tonight as far as different scams that they picked up off the internet. There's a lot of areas that you can get on as far as Better Business Bureau. Any place on the internet you want to get information, please research, check it out, on your own, because there's a lot of stuff out there. We try to get current information in. We get information in from our Neighborhood Watch, and we pass it back out to Neighborhood Watch. When we do presentations like this, at the end, when we get comments made, we talk to people that have been victims, and they give us information, and we pass that on. Share this information with your friends, neighbors, if you belong to Neighborhood Watch, with Neighborhood Watch also.
Can I say it for you?
Sure, go ahead, Jim.
These guys that you're dealing with out here are professional thieves. They're slick. They're able to convince you that they're the good guy, that they're there to help you. They work in teams a lot of the time. So again, a lot of this type of theft goes unreported. And it goes unreported because people feel that they were taken advantage of and that they feel silly, that they believe this song and dance that went on and the show that they put on. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how smart you think you are or how well-versed you are in the world, these guys are really sharp, and I've seen many people that have been victimized because they just buy into it because it's orchestrated in such a way that if there's an ounce of greed, that's where people are trying to go. So be very careful. Don't think that you're foul-proof. These guys can take you for a ride.
Okay. And some of that, it just, like Jim says, it gets to be that greed. Someone comes up to you and they've got a $2,000 lottery ticket, and they can't cash it for whatever reason they give you. But if you give them $50 or $100, you can have the ticket and cash it in for $2,000. Sounds very inviting. $50 in your pocket, $2,000 over here. Think how easy that would be. You find out what the winning lottery numbers are, and you have a copy of the paper. It's from Wednesday night. Thursday, you go in and you buy the same lottery numbers from any establishment. Now you have a ticket with the same numbers. I meet somebody in a store and I say, hey, here's the winning lottery numbers. I won. Here's the ticket right here. The only thing different on the ticket is going to be the date. If you don't catch that right away, they could ask for $5, $20. You're giving up $20, you go to cash it, and they'll look at it and say, well, that isn't even in effect yet. Anything that seems too good to be true is. And we'll go over some of the tapes here a little bit later, and they'll show the rooms where these scam artists work. And sometimes there's 3 different ways they'll do that. To let everybody know that you just want a large amount of money. And everybody loves money. Everybody here loves money. And you get drawn into it. And the other thing is to put you under pressure that you have to pay something quickly. The third thing is you're dealing with somebody under the color of authority. You're dealing with the IRS. Or, has anybody ever got a letter from the IRS and it's like, oh no, right away you have that panic feeling of what's going on with the IRS. Why are they sending me a letter? There's, like I said, we'll see how much time we have at the end of this, but we might go over about 3 of those examples also at that time. Right now with the economy the way it is, we thought this was kind of relevant. The Better Business Bureau, they're putting out a flyer here. It's looking for the 7 red flags while searching for jobs online. If you're searching for a job, there's a job listing, and you get online and you go to apply for it, what are they going to be asking for? They're going to be asking for all your personal information. Basically, do not give out personal information if you don't know who you're dealing with at the other end, on the internet or on the telephone. 2 key things. They'll call you on the phone, or they'll have some, what they call phishing. They'll put something out there where you're going to find it, they're going to ask for information, and you're going to give it, and you think you're giving it to one person or a bank or an establishment, and you're actually giving it to a private person. They're going to take that personal information and use it against you for identity theft or for fraud or for schemes. 7 of the signs are the employer's email is just, if it's riddled with grammatical and spelling errors. That's probably a good sign that maybe it's not a legitimate site. Second one, emails purporting to be from a job posting website claiming that there's a problem with a job hunter's account. So they're going to get information from you and then come back and ask for more information. The third one, an employer asks for extensive personal information such as Social Security or bank account numbers. Do not give that information out over the phone. Do not give that information out to anybody that you're just hooking online with. On any of this stuff, whether you're trying to contact the Sheriff's Department, the Better Business Bureau, Bank of America, you initiate it. You get online, you find out where the site is, you go to that site, you initiate it. It's always better if you can do any banking transactions, personal stuff like that. If you have to, maybe in person, but initiate it. For instance, if you're at home and you do not bank with, and we'll just throw out a random bank, Bank of America, and something pops up from Bank of America on an incoming email asking for information. Well, if you don't have Bank of America, you're just probably going to X right out of it and go on with your life. But if you do have Bank of America and you're in this rushed world right now, you might start filling out this information. They want to verify information. They want my checking account number, they want my Social Security number, they want my maiden name, whatever it is, and you wind up typing this back in, and you're sending it to an unsecure site, and they're getting all this information. So if they call you on the phone and say, oh, we're Bank of America, we're this or that, no, get a phone number. If they hang up right away, that's a good indication that it's bogus. But get a phone number, see what it is, but then start your search back. Get the phone book out, call information, or contact your bank that way. Do not give out information over the phone or over the internet.
Now these sites, they look a lot like your regular banking sites. At first glance, it appears just like the cover page when you log on to Bank of America. It's amazing how accurate they can be. So don't be fooled by that. Don't just glance at it. Take your time. There will be subtle differences that you need to look for and check for.
Okay. Going into the fourth one out of the 7 here, an employer offers you the opportunity to become rich without leaving home. Again, that's that greed factor, and we all kind of, over the years you fall into it sometimes, and it's like, oh, this, I can be rich and I can stay at home. If it sounds too good to be true, most of the time it is. An employer asks for money up front. They're going to employ you, but they need you to pay for a background investigation, they need you to pay for prints, a drug examination. They're asking for money before you're even hired. That's a big sign. The salary and benefits offered seem too good to be true. Again, that greed. The job requires the employer to wire money through Western Union or MoneyGram. As strange as it would seem, we've had cases up here in the Valley where people, one of the things was put in a tight time frame. Say you get a phone call on Friday afternoon, and it's cold weather like this, and it's 4:30 or 4 o'clock. They notify you they're pretending to be possibly Edison. They're notifying you that your power is going to be shut off all weekend because you didn't pay the bill. You know you paid the bill, but you're thinking, I've got an hour to pay this bill or I will not have any heat, power for the whole weekend. It could be because it's cold. It could be because they can use that because it's cold weather, hot weather, you want air conditioning. It's Super Bowl weekend, whatever, a good opportunity. People don't want to miss this. So people wind up actually getting information, getting in their car, going to Western Union, wiring anywhere from a couple $100 to $3,000, depending if it's a business, because they do this to businesses also, to private people. They'll send $3,000, not to Edison, but to Bob Smith in Arizona. So the power will stay on. And then after 5 o'clock rolls around and power's still on, then they start thinking about this because they were put in that rushed situation. And they realize they just got scammed. As they call the Sheriff's Department comes out, they're kicking themselves, they got their head down, and they realize, no. So if somebody puts you in that quick, your car insurance is going to expire, your power is going to go off, and you have an hour to take care of it, first thing you want to do is ask for a phone number. If they hang up right away, you know it was bad. But if you get a phone number, you can use that. It might be a bogus phone number, but then, tell them you'll contact them back, but get off the phone and check it out. If you have to call Edison, if you have to call the Bank of America, whoever you're calling at that time, you start calling back the other way, cable, whatever it is, and find out quickly, that it's bogus. But do not send money out Western Union. And this has happened many times to private people and businesses.
We'll offer you something else, too, here at the Public Safety Office. If you get something in the mail during normal business hours, Craig and I are normally here first thing in the morning. We're here, we do meetings till late at night, but we're normally in the office till about 6 p.m. or thereabouts. If you've got something that's questionable and you're not sure, call us. Call the number here at that Public Safety Office, 723-6063.
Correct.
And, we'll try and answer your questions for you. So if it's something and you can't get the answer you want, give us a call. We'll try and do some research for you.
Especially over the holidays here, you might have people calling in, asking to donate money to certain causes, Sheriff's Department, Salvation Army. If you want to donate money, fine. You donate the money by contact, but you contact those people. Don't give out information over the phone. You might be thinking you're dealing with a legitimate charity over the phone, and you give out your account number, and you give out, or you're going to do a, we'll take a check, just give me the check number and whatever it is up here, and we'll do it. You think you're giving a check for $20 or $50, and all of a sudden it goes through your account for $5,000 or $300 or whatever they think they can get out of it. Don't give that information out over the phone, because you don't know really who you're talking to over the phone. Even on caller ID, when cell phones first came out, on caller ID, as a joke, you could get stuff put in there to scare your buddies or impress your friends or whatever. So if I call anybody with my cell phone, it would come up Craig Steffen. But I could pay for it to say IRS or Brad Pitt or whatever I thought was funny at the time. You know, you don't know really who's calling in this day and age, so don't give out information. Take the phone number, take their information, but then you start from square one and try to route yourself back to them if you're interested in giving any money like that. On the Better Business Bureau, we got that as far as those 7 flags. And then we were researching some of the other scams out, and lo and behold, phishing, like I said, they put something out there to gather information back in. We have a phishing using Better Business Bureau name to trap consumers and businesses. So we have one thing coming from Better Business Bureau talking about scams, and then you have somebody trying to use the Better Business Bureau logo and everything else to get information from you. Again, if they're sending you something on the internet or something in the mail, do not give your personal information back out there, because you don't know who you're contacting. They'll try to find out, say their software is down or they need to be upgraded, try to get information. Again, all the pertinent information, name, address, phone number, you can get that information anywhere, so they can already have that. But as far as your Social Security, maiden names, bank account numbers, anything like that, do not give that back out over the internet or over the phone. We're getting into tax time after the first of the year. There's an IRS scam going on that started last year, and there's no reason to think that it won't be continuing this year. People will contact you to be pretending to be the IRS online or by mail or by phone. And again, you get this phone call or letter, and they're saying they're the IRS. Everybody, for whatever reason, just kind of sometimes gets that panicked feeling. The IRS is calling me. The IRS has sent me something. Am I to be audited? Is everything okay? Do I owe more money? Again, don't send, if it comes in letter form, don't send it back. If it comes in over the internet, if it comes in over the phone, do not give that information. Get the information from them as far as contacts, phone numbers, but you turn around and you start from square one and you contact them back. That's the key to all this. Do not give out the information if you don't know who you're talking to.
Now, one of the things with the IRS, the stimulus checks that people got last year, there's probably going to be a lot of talk this year again about stimulus checks and what's going on with the government. Are we going to get money? Is each taxpayer going to be given a lump sum? Be very careful with that, too. People will try and call you and say, we'll give you a loan on your stimulus check that you're going to get. We know it's coming. And they end up giving you money, or you borrow money against a stimulus check that never shows up. So again, until you get your check in your hot little hand, don't figure it's coming until we have, proof from the government that it is being sent. Okay.
We went over the bit of being put in the rush situation as far as getting something done quickly. And like I said, this has happened to businesses and people up here in the valley where you get that phone call and you have to get this done within this time frame. That's one way to do it. The other thing is color of authority. There was a scam out here on the whole West Coast, and a lot of stuff we're going over could affect Lancaster, but it affects, all of the United States. This was something that happened on the West Coast. It was a jury duty scam. They would call up, pretend to be the County of Los Angeles if they were local, or the County of Ventura if they're dealing in Ventura, and they would say, you did not answer your jury duty notice. And first thing you're going to say is, and you're thinking in your mind, I never got the jury duty notice. The person on the other end was, all set to hear that answer, and they'd come back and say, well, they're cracking down on it because we send out the jury duty notice and everybody tries to get out of it, and they're cracking down on it, so we're going to send you out another jury duty notice, and you have to fill it out and you have to comply with this. And now there is a fine associated with this. And at first when they call in to make contact with you, they'll ask for you by name, address, phone number. They'll have all that basic information. That's very attainable almost anywhere. So they can get that information. Now what they're going to do, they're not asking for information, so you think you're dealing with somebody from the County of Los Angeles as far as this jury duty scam. Then they'll say something to the effect, and there's various ways to turn this and go the other way. They'll say, okay, there is a fine associated with this. We will send you out the information. The fine is only $10, and you're thinking, I got to pay $10. I never got this information in the first place. And then they'll pause for a while to say, well, by the time it's been 30 days, by the time we send out this information to you, mail it to you, and you fill it out and send in your $10 check, there's a possibility it might go to warrant. Now you're thinking, oh, great, I'm going to have a warrant out there. Then they're going to give you this option. Well, if you'd like to, you can pay by check over the phone now, so there's no confusion and it will not go to warrant. Okay, I'll do that. You think you're paying a $10 fine, you're going to give them a check number, you're going to give them maybe more personal information, and you figure, okay, you're going to get your jury duty notice, you've paid the fine now, and you check your account a few days later, and instead of them cashing a check for $10, they've cashed it for whatever they wanted to cash it for, $100, $500. Do not give information out over the phone. Same thing when this all starts. Fine, you're dealing with the County of Los Angeles. Ask them for a callback number. That's one of the key things. Most of these scam people, they will right away hang up on you because they realize you're on to them. If they do give you a number, fine. But then again, you start and you go back to square one, County of Los Angeles, and try to find out what's going on that way. Do not give out personal information. This works everywhere. If somebody comes up to your front door, especially this time of year, it's a charity, they're selling something for school. There's a lot of legitimate stuff out there. But if someone comes up to your door and you don't know who they are, and you've answered that door now, and they're selling magazines, and you just want them to go away, and you say, and they're not leaving, and you say, okay, well, let me look, okay, Popular Mechanics, $10 for a year, that's worth it, I'll get them out of here, you sign that check. Can I have your driver's license number? Yeah, you put that on there. Can I see your ID? Yeah, fine, put that on there. You give it to them, and you've cashed it. It's for $10. They go down to the bank, they change it to $400, or they change it to whatever. Do not give out check to people you don't know that are just coming up to your front door like that. All this sometimes can be avoided by slowing down, thinking just a little bit more, and not giving out personal information right and left like that. So we covered the bind, we covered the color of authority. The third one is, again, greed. You'll get this phone call. We've all seen it pop up on the internet. We've all gotten a phone call, and one of the things will show up here is this. But people will be in rooms, and they'll pretend to have an English accent, a Southern accent, whatever their scheme's going to be, and they'll bounce back and forth. But they'll actually call, and they'll have people standing around, and you've just won something not like $5 million. That would kind of give it away. No one's winning $5 million, but something that's almost obtainable. You've just won in the contest $225,000. And you're thinking, oh, no, this isn't right, and that's the first thing you're thinking. And there are people in the background clapping and everything. I didn't enter anything. No, you didn't have to enter. It was a random draw, and it's some so-and-so, and they'll come up with an official or fun sound, so-and-so cruise lines or whatever, something else. They'll come up with a bogus name. It sounds good. They won't ask for any information at first. They'll just verify information with you. Your name is so-and-so, yes. You live at so-and-so, yes. Your phone number, they've got your phone number, and your zip code. Okay, well, the good news is we're going to be sending out this check for $225,000. It should go out in roughly about 4 to 5 days, so you should have it in a couple weeks. So if you don't get it within about 21 to 30 days, give us a call back, but you'll be getting this check for $225,000. And there's still all this clapping going on in the background, and we're recording this live and everything because we're going to be using it for advertising or whatever their scam is at that time. And you're thinking, okay, they haven't asked me for anything. They're sending me a check for $225,000. This is all good. And then they'll hit you with the real. They'll say, if you'd like, we can do direct deposit to your bank in 3 days if you'd like that. Now, who here wouldn't want $225,000 in their bank in 3 days as opposed to 30 days? There's that greed again, right? You wind up giving somebody your bank, your account number, your routing number, and all this over the phone, and they've just got access to everything that you should not give out over the phone. So if it seems to be too good to be true, if they're putting you in a rush, if it's under color of authority or something like that, just slow down and think about what you're doing there. Jim's going to go over, and we've got a couple of tapes put in now.
Yep,
yeah,
got
so
some CDs.
We'll go 2 of these and everything, and then we'll come back, and we have a couple more little things to go, and then we'll get into the questions and comments or any of the other scams that have affected people locally or you've heard of. And like I said, it's a good way to exchange information here. So. And then like I said, when we get into the questions, please just raise your hand. We'll run the mic out to you. You do have to hold the mic in front of your face there while you talk so they can pick it up. These presentations are rebroadcast on Channel 28 throughout the month. So please, we have a few on there right now for emergency preparedness, business watch, burglary prevention, so please take advantage of those when you get a chance. If you're cruising around 170 channels and can't find anything, turn on channel 28. We've got some good stuff going there. So,
Of course, it's giving me trouble. So
of course, yes. Anybody run into this at your house also? Yes. While Jim's doing this, to get into it a little bit, in the paper over the past couple days, they had it on the front page about foreclosure, pirates plunder vacant homes. We have a copy of that in the back. At Neighborhood Watch, if a house is vacant in your area, we encourage everybody in Neighborhood Watch to keep an eye on that house. That can lead to trouble. People drive down the street, they see houses that are occupied. If the house is unoccupied, kids can use entertainment.
Your top salesman of the week, Mark, take a bow. You'll also be receiving the grand prize of an evening of pleasure with the lovely Miss Amber. Now, in the VIP room. That's right, that's right. Hopefully that's enough incentive for the rest of you slobs to start getting your numbers up next week. Let's go, boys.
Dad?
Hey, little girl.
Hey, are you ready?
I'll be with you in a minute.
Give me another minute,
I'm still dressing.
another minute more.
How was the traffic?
It wasn't too bad.
Give me another minute, another minute.
Are you reading?
more.
Yeah. Just not too hungry this morning.
Mind is
Had too
weak,
much for supper last night, I think.
flesh won't be ignored. Give me another minute, another minute more.
Here we go, coming up. I wish you hadn't come all the way in from the city, though. I could have driven myself.
Stop. Perfect chance for me to take my best guy out to lunch. Promise me we're going to go to lunch after you see the doctor.
Just like your mother was. Always worrying if I'd eaten. If I remember to take my medicine, I'm a grown man, you know. I can manage just fine.
I know, Dad. You haven't invested any money in these guys, have you?
No, not yet. George Torres, you remember George. He said he's making a lot of money with those folks. And he sent me this, and he said that this is going to make his retirement, and it can make my retirement.
It's not going to make your retirement, Dad. I mean, I see this kind of thing a lot at work. You don't need to invest in stuff like this, okay?
Well, those folks must be on the level. George wasn't banking for years. He wouldn't put money in something that wasn't solid. It's got risks, but you gotta take risks to make money.
You shouldn't worry about that. With your pension and savings, you'll be fine. You can put that extra money in a college fund for that grandchild I'm going to have someday. The grandchild that you're going to see grow up.
I hope you're right, Copper Top. The rainy days come too, and you gotta prepare for them.
Speaking of that, do you have an umbrella? It's supposed to rain. Okay. You ready?
Yeah. It'll be good for lunch afterwards, too. Where you want to go?
Let's go somewhere and get some fish.
Okay. Oh, we can go see Fair and split a piece of lemon cake for dessert.
Salmon, too.
Yeah.
Yes. You sure you don't want me to go in with you?
No, honey, I got my book. You just be bored. Why don't you do some shopping or something?
I've got a couple calls I need to make. And I'll check in on you. Okay?
Got her.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, Michelle. How's your dad doing?
He's good. He just went in for his treatment. Listen, are you busy today? I've got something I need checked out.
No, what do you need?
My dad got this mailing I don't feel good about. It's from this company called Initial Investments International.
Uh-huh.
Now, their address is in the business district, but it looks a lot like that stuff the outfit Chicago used to peddle.
Yeah. Give me that address again. Got it. I'll tell you what. Let me check the system, see if any complaints turn up. If nothing turns up, I got a good contact down at the SEC, all right? Hey, your dad doesn't have any money in this, does he?
No, but my neighbor George Torres may have. It's like my uncle. Kind of looked out for me when I was a kid. I don't want to see him get burned.
Yeah, well, let me see what I can turn up on this, okay?
Yeah.
I'll give you a call back.
Thanks, Alan. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Bye.
You have one new message and 7 old messages.
Michelle, hey, it's Alan. You were right. We've had a couple of complaints on the system about these guys. About $5,000 plus in losses both times. It looks like they've only been open for business for about the last 7 months, and the lease is to a guy named Park Richardson. He's been sanctioned once before by the SEC, so I'm going to go by and take a look a little later. I've already jacketed the case on this one. Yeah, I'm sorry, Michelle. I wish I had some better news for you.
Damn it. That's great. That's just great.
Hello? Can I help you?
Hi, Mr. Torres. I'm Michelle Neath. I used to live down the street.
McCormick's, yes. Michelle, come in. It's so good to see you again. I didn't recognize you.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm sure that you'd love to see April, but she's not home right now. She went skiing with our kids out in Denver, if you can believe that.
Wow.
She'll be so sorry that she missed you.
Me too. Actually, I'm here on business.
Okay, well, let's have a seat. Now, refresh my memory. What is it that you do again?
I'm a postal inspector.
That's right. Let me take your coat. He said you were tops in your class.
That's Dad.
Have a seat. Well, he's very proud of you. Where do you live now, Michelle?
I'm living in the city. I have a loft.
Oh, a warehouse. What's your dad think about that?
You know Daddy doesn't like that.
I know your dad, yeah.
He said you recommended this company to him a few days ago. And I just, I wanted to ask you a little bit about it.
I know what that is, Triple I. One of the best investments I've ever made. These guys are sharp, real go-getters.
How'd you find out about them?
Well, I have you folks to thank. I got a piece in the mail. It talked about investing in biotechnology companies. These real ground floor kind of stuff. So I called them up. My broker, a guy named Park Richardson, he got me set up in a small investment, and it's been growing ever since. Why do you ask?
Some of the returns on investment that they talk about seem really high.
Oh, well, they all do that. It's called advertising. Now, if you look at the fine print, it says that these returns are not typical. It's all here if you read carefully.
They're not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission.
I asked that very same question myself. You see, this is a general partnership company, and the firms involved, well, they don't have to register with the SEC until they go public.
We check with some of the companies they claim to represent, and most of them have never heard of Initial Investments International. And we have some complaints in our system about them.
Oh. Well, you must be mistaken. I have my account summaries right here. I was just working with them.
Okay.
Now look at this. 2 months ago, I invested $5,000 in FiberCell. And it's currently valued at almost 3 times that. And when they go public, I'll get 3 shares for every 1 share that I already own. That's how this venture game works. It's not like your typical bank returns.
Mr. Torres, Park Richardson has been involved in a company like this before. He was sanctioned by the SEC for making illegal trades.
So, if what you say is true, he'd be in jail right now, wouldn't he?
No, sir. Often we pursue civil actions against these people. We stop their mailings, we shut them down, sometimes the SEC fines them. But this time I think it's a little more serious.
Michelle, I know you're concerned about your dad.
I'm concerned about you, and I'm concerned about April.
I appreciate that. But I have some background in this kind of thing.
I know you do. I know. I'm just looking out for you.
You're just trying to help me. I
am.
understand.
I see this a lot at work. I think that you need to listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
But in this case, you're mistaken.
No.
There's another Park Richardson.
Maybe you're right. Why not play it safe? Call them and try to get your investment back. Now, sometimes they'll pay a few investors off just to keep the operation going. Tell them you think it's a scam. Threaten to call the police. Sometimes it works.
Young lady, I will do no such thing. These investments have been very profitable for April and I. The way the market is these days, you have to take a few risks if you want to make money. Look, we have taken a few losses here and there, but overall, Park has done a very good job for us. And you have not said anything for which you have any proof at all. And I'm looking at these figures right here in black and white.
Mr. Torres, I don't mean to upset you, but this is my job. I see this kind of thing all the time. Just try to get some of your money back. Please.
If I did that, I would have to pay penalties for early withdrawals. That could be almost 20%.
Wouldn't you sleep better at night? Wouldn't it make you feel more comfortable?
I know you're worried about your dad, and
I'm not worried about my dad.
I'm not
worried
trying to
about
bring
you,
your dad
Mr.
into something that
I know. You're one of the smartest
my own
guys I know.
money in
Please,
this
Mr. Torres, you have no idea what these guys will do. Okay, you've got a lot of money involved in this. I want to make sure that you're okay.
Okay. I'm going to talk to April about it. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's
okay.
You know, you guys mean a lot to me.
I'll get your coat.
Hi, can I help you?
Yes, hello. May I speak with Mr. Richardson?
Yeah, can I ask who's calling?
This is George Torres, one of his clients.
George, how's it going, my friend? You sneaking out of the house, see some broads while your wife's away?
No, nothing like that. Work.
I was just going over my account summary and taking a look at this Mitchum stock. It's not doing so well.
Yeah, I was just looking at that one myself. It hasn't been doing too great, George.
Now, sometimes the R&D on these things
Takes a little time. That one's going to be a good one for us, though.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Park
has a lot of expenses.
come up recently, and I was thinking, well, I might like to cash that one out. You know, just get the money.
And cut my losses.
George, what are you talking about? You don't want to get out now. You're 10% down, and you're going to get hit hard with the...
Penalties. Plus,
You guys are going to do a press release on the new manufacturing process any day now.
you want to get out now, just before the thing takes off?
No, I don't, but April said that...
April said.
Right.
April said. George, let me tell you what I do when my old lady tries to tell me what to do. I say, hey, I make the money, I'll spend it any way I see fit. Didn't you make all this dough to begin with, George? Isn't that what you told me? Your wife stayed home with the kids while you slaved away at the bank?
For 30 years.
Yes, but...
But nothing, George. There's no buts. Listen, I can't make you any money if you won't go with my recommendations. I mean, look at that Pencourt stock.
What's that? What do you got in there now? $7 grand? It's up to what, 12.5? Didn't I tell you about that one, George? Didn't I tell you to load up on that one, George?
Didn't I tell you I have my own mother in that stock?
George.
Yeah, that was a good investment. That was a good investment, but this Mitchum stock...
This Mitchum stock
Is about to explode, that's what. Let me tell you what I want to see happen here, George. I want to see us make some real money on this one, George. I want to see you hit this one big, okay?
You're a great customer and you deserve it.
Let's look at putting another 10 grand into that.
That Mitchum stock. Now's the time to buy it, George.
Okay? The stock is underpriced. All right? Buy low.
Sell high, George, right?
Can you see that, George? Can you
See it?
I can see that, but I just don't have the money right now.
You don't? Okay, well, let's get
at least 5 grand in there? You can do that.
Right, George?
I don't really have that cash right now. Maybe I could move something over from CDs.
How soon can you get it here, George?
This thing is going
To explode when they have that press conference. But, I can maybe cover you with the bean counters, if you can get it here within the next 3 days. 3 days. You can do that, right, George? Right, George?
Well, I suppose I...
Let me tell you what I'm going to do, George. Let me tell you, you're a good customer. I'm going to eat my commission on this one, George. I'll take one of the girls upstairs out to dinner tonight, show her a good time, my treat.
Talk her into covering you until your check comes in, okay?
I'll make my money on the next one, okay, pal?
I don't really want you to have to do that, Park. I could get down to the bank first thing tomorrow and...
Now let me lock you in at 7 1/4.
Well, I'm Mitchell right now, okay? You just hold on for confirmation to verify the order, all right, George?
I can hold it. Thanks, Park. I really appreciate this.
Hey, for you, buddy, no problem, George.
Hey, if you need me after talking to confirmation...
You just have her buzz you right back, okay? Have a great weekend, pal. Take care. Here we go. Cha-ching.
You see how he turns them around. He wants to get out of it. He's got him investing more money into it. As I said, these guys are really slick.
That's why they look. I'm the king. 5 grand, 30 seconds. I want to see someone do it right now. Get on the phones. Get them humming. Let's move, boys. Set down the stairs. Set down the stairs. Money, boys. All you got to do is talk them out of it. Prey on the elderly.
This is talking about boiler room operations. This is what is considered a boiler room operation. This is what they do. They have phone bags set up. They do this kind of work. It goes on all the time.
Hello?
Mr. Torres? Hi.
It's Michelle Neese. How are you?
Hello, Michelle.
Were you able to take your money out of III?
I'm
Not certain about any of this anymore.
I've started getting a lot of mail asking me to invest
In oil wells and precious metals. How do you...
I think they happen to have gotten my name.
They may have gotten your name from Park Richardson, sir.
So, they keep lists of who the fools are.
No, I don't mean that. These crooks do share information sometimes.
Yeah.
I made a tape the other night when I called them back. Would you like it? Do you think it would help?
Yes, I would
Love to have that. That was a wonderful idea.
I was wondering if...
You might be able to do me another favor.
Do you have a pencil handy? I'd like you to give them a name. Can I help you?
Mail lady. Get express mail that needs a signature.
Yeah, 1 second.
Hold on.
Hi.
How are
Here's
you?
your mail.
Thank you so much.
I've got a restricted delivery for Park Richardson. See here?
Yeah, hang on 1 second.
Park.
Yeah.
That's for you.
Yeah, what do you need?
Park?
Yeah.
Just need your signature right there.
All right, thanks. Always happy to see the mail come in.
Good news, huh?
Always.
800 shares.
Doing all right, Denise?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing terrific. Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Celebrate tonight, Denise. Been a part of us. My treat. What do we got?
One room. 12 guys. Split down the middle. No other entrance. Informant says the guy's got a gun. I didn't see one on him.
Police search warrant, open up! Police, open up!
How much longer are you going to be here?
About 5 more minutes to Baghdad.
Good job. Investment fraud is just one of the type of phone frauds out there. To avoid these telemarketing criminals, listen for some of these tip-offs. You must act now or the offer will expire. Take your time. Be extremely cautious about investing with an unknown caller or responding to a mail solicitation that insists you must make up your mind immediately. You must send money, give a credit card or bank account number, or have your check picked up by a courier before you've had a chance to consider the offer carefully. Never send cash and keep financial information private unless you know who you're dealing with. And get all information in writing before you agree to buy. You can't afford to miss this high-profit, no-risk offer. Realize that there's no such thing as a risk-free investment. Take the time to do your homework. Read articles in news and financial publications like Barron's or the Wall Street Journal. You don't need written information or references about the company. It's a surefire investment. Check the firm out with the Better Business Bureau, State Attorney General's Office, or Consumer Protection Bureau. Talk to a friend, relative, or financial advisor before you do anything. And don't be afraid to hang up on pushy salespeople on the phone. Remember, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Young people can also help by keeping an eye on their parents' finances, especially if they're going through an illness that may make it difficult for them to think clearly or remember details. In this case, Inspector Neese may have prevented her father from losing money just by being alert. You can do the same for your parents. Remember, if you think you've been the victim of a telemarketing fraud, you need to report it. Contact your local postal inspectors. You can find them in the phone book or on our website at usps.com/postal inspectors.
Again, to the things that we were going over, if it sounds too good to be true, step back. Don't go for it. I mean, we've all been in that situation where something sounds so good, but don't go for it. And the other thing, as far as putting you in that bind, that tight thing, you've got to do it right now. You have to do it by tonight. You have to do it within the next 30 minutes. If they're pressuring you, what's that remind you of lots of times when you see something like that? Car salesmen sometimes? You know, I mean, we all have our own opinion of car salesmen sometimes or whatever, and there's good ones and bad ones, but sometimes they want to put you in that bind. You got to make the decision now. You got to do
Didn't you sell cars at one time in your life? Oh. Okay.
And I wasn't like that, no. I treated people the way I wanted to be treated. But, you know, it's just when they put you in the bind, that time frame, you've got to do it now. If it sounds too good to be true, back away from that. What's the other DVD we have?
Well, we have another. If that was worth watching, we have another one on lottery scams I can put on. It's about the same length, about 15, 20 minutes. If everybody's in favor, we'll run that too.
Pop that in. One thing we want to touch on, as Jim's doing this and everything, there was an article in the paper about foreclosure, pirates plunder vacant houses up here in the Antelope Valley. We go over neighborhood watch. We need everybody out there in the community. If you have vacant houses and you see people drive up in what appears to be just regular vehicles or trucks, and they're going into these vacant houses, and you see them taking everything out as far as plumbing, wiring, light fixtures, contact the Sheriff's Department at the non-emergent number, the 948-8466 number. They need to know about this and let them know that it's a vacant house and it appears that someone is taking out everything from the inside. It's big business as far as getting in there and getting copper, getting light fixtures, getting wiring. So if you have vacant houses in your area, and again, talk to your neighbors on this, get the word out there that if you see people going into these vacant houses, to contact the Sheriff's Department right away. One of the big handouts we had at the back there, if you haven't grabbed it yet, grab it before you leave. It's a Take Charge Fighting Back Against Identity Theft. If you are a victim of identity theft, please grab one of these. And like I said, we have plenty in the back. Grab them for your neighbors and your family. On the back is the most important number. This is the number you want to call if you are a victim of identity theft. In here they have an affidavit that you can fill out that you'll need to send in. But please, before you leave, grab at least one for you, and feel free to grab one for the neighbor. On our presentations, we're going to try to do, the next one will be on identity theft next month. We saw, by the show of hands, a lot of people saw about the presentation in the paper. We will advertise on the radio, we'll advertise on TV, we advertise in the paper, and we'll send out all the e-blasts that we normally do also, and we advertise at the park. So please tell your neighbors. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we get those to you at the end of the meeting here. We'll be more than happy to do that. Just come down and see us and everything. After the next DVD, we'll get into questions and answers, and I'm interested to hear if anybody has been a victim of something local around here so we can find out more information on that. How are we doing, Jim?
Yeah, it's not working for me, but We're going to keep trying.
The mouse died, huh?
Yeah. Technically challenged.
Not going at all?
Waiting for it to come up again.
Okay. Over there.
Okay, well, it's not running for me.
Okay. So we'll go back to questions and answers or any comments. Anybody have any questions or answers or comments they want to make? Or okay. And please just hold that up to your mouth so they...
I'm a little unclear in the grocery store. Are you talking about when we're running our cards through the machine when we're paying for groceries, or are we talking about the ATMs that are in grocery stores, an actual ATM machine, or are they both?
Both. As far as the one scam that's going on up here in the valley right now, the Sheriff's Department is trying to find a common denominator as far as if there's an attachment on a machine somewhere, and they weren't sure, they're not sure yet if it's possibly at a gas station or a market or wherever. But that's where, you want to look at any ATM machine as far as that possible attachment. As far as sliding your card when you're right there at the checkout counter, most of those are pretty simple. They get used a lot. You could probably see if there's another device on there pretty easily because they're a lot smaller than the ATM where you slide it in. But at that time when you are sliding it through, please try to cover your PIN number. I mean, that's one way for people, especially in the shopping season now. Every place you go shopping is going to be busy. So when you're using your PIN number, keep an eye on it and everything. Pretend like you're typing in 10 or 12 numbers, or cover it with your hand. If someone's next to you, you can ask them, please, would you step back a little bit? For a while, they started that at most of the retail places around the valley here and throughout Southern California. They were actually posting little like white lines a little bit farther back, little signs, give people privacy, putting up little blinders on the side. Some of those are still active, some aren't, but be very careful with your PIN numbers. Same thing if you have different code numbers at home or PIN numbers for different cards at home. Don't leave them at home on your computer system with little post-its for, B of A is this code and some other bank is this code. Keep that stuff, out of sight. Any other questions or comments or?
About a week and a half ago, I got a phone call at night, about 8:30 at night, and this gentleman had a very strange accent.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a Mexican accent or anything. It was like a Jamaican or something like that. And on my cell phone that he called on, that's the only thing I have is a phone now, and his telephone number came up. I asked him his name, and he gave me a name, and he said he'd give me an employee number. I asked him the company. He gave me a company name. Well, I said, and then I said, finally, I asked him, could he give me someone who didn't have such an accent? Maybe I understand more. Got this other gentleman. He's supposed to be the boss. Mm-hmm. He had the same accent, just as bad. And I asked him, I said, where are you calling from? He said, what does that mean? I said, I want to know where you're calling from. He said, I'm calling from Phoenix. I said, area code Phoenix is 602. And yours is not 602. You're not calling from Phoenix. And he kept on talking. Finally, I got him pinned down to what he really wanted to give me. He was going to give me $100 worth of coupons for free gas if I'd only send him a check for $4.95. I told him I will send you a money order for $4.95. No, I had to have a check. I said, buddy, one thing you don't get from me is you got my name, you got my address, you got my phone number. He told me that. But you're not getting my bank number, and you're not going to get a check. So I said, I tell you what you do. Take my name, your address, my address, and my phone number out of your computer. You hide it where you want to, and where you can't see it, and that's under your own head, as far as I'm concerned. And I didn't even tell you where to put it. But anyway, him and I ended the conversation. I said, I tell you what, get lost. And
Good, you were smart. Absolutely. Perfect job, and that's exactly what we went over earlier. These people will contact you over the internet, or they're going to contact you over the phone and try to get this personal information from you at that time. Do not give out personal information over the phone. Do not give out over the internet. Ask for a phone number, call back, contact them, but do not give any information out that way. Go ahead, sir.
Speak right.
Yeah, within a month's time, I've gotten 2 phone calls. One was from the Police Association, one was from the Firemen's Association.
Right.
I placed some money for both of them. I already sent one of them a check, and I'm going to send the other check either this month or the first day. Are they legal?
There are legitimate police association funds and fireman funds that take donations, okay? But they should be sending you information in the mail, not just a phone call. But let them send the information. Before you send them a check, you should say, okay, I would like to donate. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to donate X number of dollars. Send me all the paperwork. I will fill it out. I will send it back to you. Okay? Don't give them a check over the phone. Don't provide that information. Let them go ahead and send all the legitimate information to you that you can review.
And as we were saying earlier also, if you want to donate to any charity or any organization like that, you can get their name and number, but then you initiate it from your end. You call information or check the phone book or get on the internet and get the phone number, and you start and you go that way. Because when people are calling you, you really don't know who you're dealing with, and you're giving this information out as far as check numbers sometimes or whatever, and you're sending it out, and you don't really know who's on the other end of the internet or that phone call coming in. So, if you're interested in donating to anyone, say, I will donate, I will contact somebody later or whatever, and I will donate. But don't give out personal information over the phone or over the internet.
Yeah, unfortunately, they prey upon the elderly more often than not. And it makes me so angry, and I go out and I speak to a bunch of you at different places. I was over at Fernwood at your place last week, and they think you're weak. They think you're frail. They think they can take advantage of you, and damn it, we can't allow that to happen. You guys have got to stand together. You've got to talk to each other. Share this information. If you're made a victim, you need to let the people around you know that it's going on.
I know a friend of mine, a close friend of mine.
So everybody can hear you.
I know a close friend of mine one time, about 1.5 years ago. In fact, at the time we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and we just started recently too. We got back together, but she was receiving Police and Firemen Association requests for donations often. I mean, she'd pay one, and before the month's end, they'd be sending another one to her.
Yeah, she might have been mixed up with one that was not legitimate. Yeah. Okay. Normally, with those associations, it's normally once or twice a year that they try to collect.
And any organization that's trying to get a donation from you, she had a question there, please, like I said, just get a phone number, but then you go back from square one and you make the contact. That's the one way to verify who you're dealing with, because you're reaching out by phone or by internet to make that contact. Yes.
Oh yeah, last night I had a phone call that I filled out some paperwork. Of course, you can't remember if you did or not, but they said I did, and they said that I was approved for a beneficiary package, and that he would have to come to my house today and ask me what time could I be there, what time could he be there today. And I said, well, you can. And I said, you can drop off, if I'm approved, you can drop off the package at my work if you want, and I'll sign for it or something. No, I have to come to your house. What time? 12, 2? I go, well, you can't. I said, you're not coming to my house. Do you let strangers come to your house? And so,
Exactly, and there comes that pushiness again that we see.
Yeah, he started, it was really pushy, so I just said, you know what? He goes, well, I'll just put down there that you're denying your approval package. I said, well, put down whatever you want to put down, but I said, just put down that I'm not interested in having a stranger come to my house, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what happened last night.
On one of the other scams, too, is people calling up, asking they want to do a survey, and they're going to give you a $200 gas coupon or $200 for a market. And it sounds good, but if they're asking you what kind of cereal you eat or items like that, that's one thing. But when they get into personal information, as far as how many people are in your household, it's okay. You're your husband and 2 children. Do you work, and what time do you work? Does your husband work, and what time does he work? And do you commute, and do the kids go to school, and what happens here? Pretty soon they've got it diagrammed when your house is going to be empty, and they can burglarize your house. If it sounds too good to be true, as most of these scenarios, if it sounds too good to be true, if they're putting you under pressure, you have to get it done within half an hour, or they're going to shut off the power all weekend, or your car insurance will be expired. That's the time to, look around. If you're dealing with somebody under color of authority, even the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the detectives lots of times, they don't give out personal numbers to the back. They'll say, call the generic number up front and contact me that way. Like I said, on cell phone, you can pay to have it say whatever you want. I can have it say the IRS, LA County Sheriffs, LA County Probation, whatever, and you think you're talking to these people. Be polite. You possibly might be talking to these people. Get the information. Don't give out information over the phone. Get a contact name, get a contact number, and then you start the initiation and try to get back to them that way. A lot of times on these scams, as soon as you ask for a phone number, you're getting a quick hang-up because they know that either the person on the other end is going to hang up or try to call back, and they'll go to one of these rooms, or they'll just give up on it. So that's one of the first things you want to do is ask for a contact number. And just like you were saying, you're looking at a number and you know that's not an Arizona code. If it sounds too good to be true, they're going to give you $3 million. They're putting you in a bind. Don't give out that information.
Pasadena. So, little old lady from Pasadena was calling.
Like I said, one of the gentlemen came tonight, and he brought in several different scams, and we encourage everybody to, research this. When there's stuff on TV that you can watch on different scams, whatever media you go for, TV, press, radio, listen to this. Share scams when you hear them with your neighbors. If you have any new scams that you're thinking it might be a scam or not, you can contact us at the city, the public safety office. We have our information back there, and we're more than happy to give it out and talk to everybody on an individual basis afterwards. But call us. We'll check with the sheriff's department, with our connections over there, and find out what's going on. If it is, legit or a new scam going on, whatever it happens to be. And scams can be big things and can be small things. As far as people, one of the scams that's kind of small was people approaching people in parking lots at shopping centers. We've all been approached by people just asking for money, or I've run out of gas and I need $5 to get over here. A scam where people were dressed in scrubs, like a uniform garb, and they would come up and see someone and come up and give them a big bear hug. Hi, how have you been? I haven't seen you for so long. And give you a bear hug. As the male companion is checking out the purse, checking out the cart, checking out the car, after the person would get free, they say, well, I really don't remember you, and, I worked over at the hospital, and I might have you mixed up with someone else, but, do you have $5 or whatever? Keep your distance, even in parking lots, keep your distance. Be aware of what's going on. As we talked at the beginning, it's a busy world. Everybody's moving real quickly. When you get out of your car, you're walking into the store, keep your distance. Plan on what you're going to say to people that might come up and ask for money or try to get into your personal space. You don't have to be a Chuck Norris, but keep your distance and talk in a little bit more of a firm voice. Excuse me, stay there. Don't come any closer. What do you want? I want money. I'm sorry, I don't have money. Any kind of scam. If it seems too good to be true, don't fall for it. And if you have any questions on anything, please give us a call. We're at the Public Safety Office, or number 723-6063. We have that information on the back, and we're more than happy to help you. We're in early in the morning, and we're here till 6 o'clock. Somebody's always manning the phones, or we'll get back to you as soon as we get back in. So, any other questions or comments? Or yes.
This is my scam letter that I just got in the mail last week. You talk about being vulnerable. I have a check here for $4,899.95. Made out to me. It's drawn on J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. Perfectly legitimate bank. The only thing it asked me to do was it said I was the winner of $150,000, and I had to pay $2,900 in taxes. Okay, so by Western Union or, I don't know, whatever the other thing is, Western Union or MoneyGram. Okay, so red flag goes up to me. I take this check to the bank. The bank is willing to cash it because it is such a good check that under the lights, it comes up with all the things it's supposed to come up with on the back, the account number, and the they ask of me a million times, routing number.
Right.
The routing number and the checking account number match. There are sufficient funds in this account to cash this check. But I know in my heart it's fraud, but the bank is willing to take it. What?
Have you contacted the Sheriff's Department yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I heard about this. A friend called me and told me.
Right.
Because there's a number for me to call for this lady back in
Now, we
Wisconsin.
know a
somewhere.
couple of detectives that would love to talk to you about that information.
Correct. And when you get information like this, and like I said, the same thing, it seems too good to be true, and there's scams that go on like that you've won this large amount, they're going to send you this check, you're going to put it in your account, you're going to start drawing out of the account. We've had it where it appears legit, they're going to cash it, they put the money into your account, but then when it actually doesn't go through, then you're overdrawn and you've sent them money back here for other, fees or taxes or whatever, and you never get that last check that's supposed to come in, and your credit is hurt, you're a victim. So if it sounds too good to be true, and never, one of them that was recent was the person put the money into the bank. It was, legitimate and good as far as the bank was concerned at that time, but then like 10, 13 days later, the bank came back and said, oh no, it's bad. So, the bank, a lot of it, some of the responsibility falls on the bank, but a lot of it falls on the consumer. And the same thing, if you've won this over here and they're giving you this amount here and they're going to ask for some money to come back here for taxes or fees, that's the whole scheme right there. If it sounds too good to be true, don't do it. If your bank, or deposit it in your bank, but don't draw on it and let it sit there for 20 days and then see if your bank comes back and says, no, this is a bogus check.
I wouldn't even deposit it.
That they have the option to take that money out up until any given time that they want, 60 days, 90 days, 100 days.
Yeah.
When they find out it's fraud, they have the right, they told me they would have the right to go right back in and take that money out of my account, even if I left it there for, opened a new account.
Mm-hmm. And left it sit there.
And left it sit there. They said, why don't you go to J.P. Morgan and cash the check there? Well, the nearest one is in Houston, Texas, or I can go to Wisconsin.
Convenient, huh? Yeah, convenient. And again, that's almost like a telltale sign, exactly, right? So, no, what I would do is, if you have the opportunity, is drop by the Lancaster Sheriff's Station tomorrow, go up to the desk and let them know that you were at the presentation tonight and you were advised to go over there, and we'll see if we can get a deputy or detective to come up and see this. And then sometimes you're going over there and they say, oh yes, we're aware of it, right? And this scam is going on. We've seen a few of them. Sometimes there's so many scams you think, well, why isn't everybody aware of this, right? Why doesn't the Sheriff's Department or the city advise everybody? Lots of times it's an active case and they're working on it and they're closing in on people and they don't want to put it out there because they put it out there in the paper or the media sometimes, and all of a sudden these people just draw their antennas in and they're gone, and then everybody loses. But just like the one DVD that we were seeing up there, if it sounds too good to be true, if they get pushy, you've got to do it right now before the end of the day, more money, push. Stay away from it. Stay away. Any other questions on anything? Or
I got one of those checks about a month ago.
About a month ago you got a check? Okay.
And they sent me a check for $4,500 or $4,900.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me to send them back $500 after I cashed the check in my bank.
Mm-hmm. And same thing. You put it in, the bank says it's good, it shows up, you send $500 that way, you never get that check coming in this way, your bank turns around and says, oh, that check you put in 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 days ago is now bad. And now you're stuck. You might be overdrawn on other stuff. You've lost at least $500. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Yeah. I cannot remember hearing from anybody I've ever worked with or known that has come through with being lucky enough to get that phone call where $225,000 actually went their way, or like you say, $5 million and send this or whatever. It's scams, and they get people, because, everybody, it's human, it must be part of human nature because it works so good on everybody. You see how these people work. They're very good at what they do. If he was doing something legal, he could be very productive at what he could do, but he's decided to go this route. And we did an identity theft presentation last year, and there was a gentleman, like I said, in a similar room. but he was in the room, and then they showed him when he was in prison. And he could sit there, and he could talk in the sweetest Southern accent. Then he had a Midwest accent. Then he was like he was from back east somewhere, and he had all these different accents he could use, and he just reeled people in right and left as far as, you've won this, you've done that, just like he's doing, and the money's rolling in, and people are losing savings and getting bad credit out of it. So, don't become a victim, don't fall to their scams like this, and don't invest in it. And if you have any question, please give us a call over there at the Public Safety Office, or call the Lancaster Station, if they're a regular number, and ask to speak to one of the detectives that's back there working in the fraud section. Yes? Okay.
15th of January?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, and it's going to be on identity theft, right? We'll be e-blasting everybody. What we do, for people for Neighborhood Watch or Business Watch, we e-blast everybody, all the block captains. We usually e-blast everybody that gives us their email number. If you've signed in on our registration form back there and you want to be notified as far as future meetings, we have that back there. Please give us your email. That's what we use it for, is to send out information on when we're having our next meeting. Last year here and going into next year now, we're going to have meetings probably on gang awareness, another one on graffiti, identity theft, another one on emergency preparedness. We try to do at least one of those once a month. On Channel 28 now, most of our presentations are on. If you need to know the schedule, please give us a call, and we'll give you the schedule. We can mail it out to you or let you know what it is. We're trying to get it up on the web, on the city website right now. And, we have these presentations out there, so you can sit at home if you'd like and go over them. And we try to usually get guest speakers in for the gangs and stuff like that, and it's really informative on that. We have one more question back here. Yes, sir.
It's not a question, it's a statement I got from the postman. If you're going to put a check in the mail, usually you put it at nighttime. You go, I wrote a check, dump it in your mailbox. You don't put it at night, put it in the morning.
Correct.
My wife's case, she stuck one in in the evening. Thought something was mailed out, and a week or so later, she never got the item that she was looking for. And then she said, that's kind of funny. They said, well, we never received your check. So she goes to the bank anyway, checked it out, and there was a check for $1,200 instead of, I think it was $20 or something, whatever the item was.
Right.
And the check looked different. She compared to other, they had blanked the check out except for her signature.
Yep.
So she went to the bank, and it was cashed someplace up in Fresno or somewhere.
They can actually wash out the check. Yes.
Right. It was good for it and everything like that. But then the mailman said they caught some kids, oh, good grief, way over in 90th and I or something like that, and they had broken into a mailbox, and some guy called the sheriff, they caught the kids, and they got them for misdemeanor breaking or something in the post office, and the mailman was stuffing the old papers in the thing. I said, what do you give me all that junk for? And he says, I've got to. If I don't put it in there, I can lose my job. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, those kids they caught, you just got them for a misdemeanor and let them go. And they had broken into the mailbox.
Yeah. And on any laws or whatever, if you don't like the laws and you're not in favor of how they're, applied, please, contact your legislative body so they can change the laws, and we're all in favor of that also. Gary, did you have a question?
Hang on one second, Gary. Something that he brought up, if they take a check, they can wash your check. They'll leave your signature on, they'll wash the check, they'll rewrite it in a different amount. Use a gel pen. They are at the store, they are marked gel pens for check writing. Use a gel pen. It's almost impossible for these guys to wash checks that have been gel pen has been used on.
And there's, if you go in and you're turning in a check or a $20 bill and they're checking to see if it's counterfeit, there's a lot of things that the criminals can do to avoid some of the lights and some of the detectors. We don't want to put it out to everybody here because naturally you're not going to do that, but it's the idea since we are live and it is recorded, we don't want to give the criminal element some more ideas on how to do some stuff like that. But for everything that you do to protect yourself, the criminals like that, they come up with ways to get around it. And we find out what's going on, and everybody gets educated, and they find other ways. So it's something that's constantly changing and everything, but just, try to be aware of everything you're doing out there and slow down a little bit. You have one more question? Gary.
I'm sure everyone here is aware that, a lot of different ways we can get your bank account number. I could get yours, having you write a check or whatever is on there, the bank account. And I can explain to you after the meeting how if I've got your bank account number, I can clean your account out. And the biggest thing you can do, and I know at the credit union where I'm at, you can put a password on your account that when you go in there and you take money out, put money in, they should ask you for your password, and you don't write that one down because it's one that you'll be easy to remember or whatever, and that'll pretty much protect your account from over-the-counter withdrawals. Otherwise, we could do that. Give me your bank account number. Within a week, Craig and I could clean your account out.
And on this, please do research on your own. If there's, if you're talking to friends, if you're talking to people, check into different companies that might be able to, they're available out there. We can't endorse anyone, but might be able to, assist you. Like you say, check with your bank. That's one great place to start. See what security measures they have as far as extra code names or extra things they can put on there to limit how much you can have taken out. I mean, same thing, if you have a bank account and you have, $10,000 or $5,000 in there constantly, but you're not going to write a check for $10,000 or $5,000. Limit how much you can have taken out in a day or 2 days or whatever, where it has to be verified. You have to give a code name. You have to do something else. Put it a little bit higher than maybe what you want in case of an emergency, but have something on there so they won't be able to withdraw all that if they do get access to your account.
What I did, my wife passed away in 2002. I went and put all my bank into what they call a living trust. I have 2 checking accounts at the bank I have. One of them I use just for spending money and grocery buying and like stuff with my ATM card. That other check, nobody gets that check except the bill, my utility bills, or something like that. Otherwise, I just keep $400 in that, just enough to go to the store, buy my groceries, or buy a little gas or whatever I need. But don't let that big money out.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
When that little bank account gets slow, I write myself a check, go to the bank itself, right into the bank, and make a deposit to that account, that other account. But I don't keep that much in there.
Right, and we're getting over the holidays right now, and again with holiday safety, getting a little bit off the subject. But if you're going out shopping and you have 12 credit cards, unless you're going to use all 12 while you're going out shopping, don't take all 12. Take 2. Leave the rest at home in a secure area, and take 2. If you do wind up losing your purse or wallet or it gets stolen, that's 12 credit cards out there. We'll see people working teams against the elderly, and especially sometimes over the holidays, to distract people. We don't see a lot of movies. That used to be the big thing, pickpockets. Again, over the holidays, if you're a guy, put your wallet in your front pocket, put it in the jacket pocket. It's very accessible in the back. If you're a woman, hang on to your purse, keep it tight, keep it zipped. What we'll see, especially with purses sometimes, they'll distract people. You'll have, over the holidays, all the bags. They'll distract you. What time is it? What's going on? What's this? What's that? They'll actually, rather than taking your whole wallet, they'll open your purse. One person will distract, the other person opens the purse, takes one credit card out. You might not, if you have 12, you might not notice it for a while and think what the damage they can do by charging on that. Go ahead. Yes.
Yes, I was a victim 2 weekends ago because I have a notification from the credit union if my account got lower than $500 to either email me. So Monday morning I look at my email and Lord behold, they said red alert, you're under 500. Well, sure enough, there was 500 taken out on Saturday and 500 taken out on Sunday. Left me with $1.12. So.
Did they give you a location on where it was taken out, a general area?
Yeah, it was taken out in San Diego at the Sport ATM.
And that is part of the investigation that the Sheriff's Department's working on right now. So that is something that, they're aware of it, and it's just, it's hit the Antelope Valley, but it could be anywhere, and we see that a lot.
And I was in San Diego, though, the weekend before.
Right, and same thing, we see that a lot. If something's happening in San Diego, it might be cashed up here. If it's, taken out up here, it's cashed in San Diego. Or it's usually not right in your own backyard.
Okay.
And you're trying to figure out why.
You file a report?
Yeah.
I sent it to the credit union. I didn't, do
Also,
call the sheriff and file a sheriff's report. Have it documented. They may request that. When they do the fraud investigation, they may come back in and want a report number from you. But it's still a good idea. It lets the sheriff up here know that this is going on, that we have another person that's been victimized from it. It helps them solve who's doing it. So yeah, please file a report.
On your account, do check in that. When you get your banking statement, review it closely. See if there's anything abnormal there. Like you say, money's taken out, anything have the warning on there if it gets lower than something. Lots of times, though, you do want to call the Sheriff's Department and make a report, whether it's identity theft or fraud or money's taken out like that. Sometimes, and not naming any particular banks or whatever, and this could change either way, a bank, sometimes it's either you say someone loses $200 from their account. What's the easiest thing for the bank to do to make you happy? Give you the $200 back into your account, cover anything that might have bounced, and you're happy, and they did it quickly. That's not a lot of expense for the bank. $200, maybe $15 here, $15 there, they write a letter to a creditor. That's it. If they don't pay to investigate why that happened, it might not get investigated by the bank, and if the Sheriff's Department doesn't know about it, it won't get investigated. In your case, the bank, if there's a lot of stuff going on, the bank might be working well with the credit union, working well with the Sheriff's Department. But you always want to call the Sheriff's Department and give that information to them. Because if your bank or credit establishment isn't talking to the Sheriff's Department doesn't know about a crime, the bank's putting the money back in your account, contact the Sheriff's Department, file a report. So the detectives over there will know what's going on. It gives them more leads. They can see what's going on. They can see where you've been with your ATM card or whatever like that. The more leads they get, the quicker they can find out what the common link is a lot of stuff and solve the problem. So.
There was an article in the paper the other day, I believe it was Sunday, that it was Federal Credit Union, Washington Mutual. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, we saw that. We were aware of that. The reporter did a fine job reporting that. Some of the information that was in the article might not have been as accurate as everybody would have hoped it would have been. Same thing, sometimes a rumor gets going or somebody gets information and they're trying to do the right thing by passing information on. And they do that, but sometimes the wrong information gets out there. On this particular point, I think a little bit of wrong, because we had information on what was going on, and we checked into it, and we found some stuff was true, some other stuff wasn't true. The article came out, and some of the stuff that was in the article was factual. Some of it might have been a little bit questionable or whatever, but everybody is just trying to get the word out. But then sometimes the wrong information gets out, and it gets a little bit confusing because people were thinking, oh, this bank, this area, this. And if you weren't, same thing. If you weren't affiliated with, this bank or this credit union, then you're thinking, oh, I'm in the clear, I don't have to worry about what's going on. That can lead to a false sense of security. So, just be, everybody tries to help out and give accurate information out there, but if there are questions, you can contact us at the Public Safety Office, and we try to verify through the LA County Sheriff's Department, or just call the LA County Sheriff's Department and ask to speak to someone that knows about this so they can give you the good, accurate information. The good information is better than a lot of bad information out there floating around. So, yep. Any other questions, or one more? Okay.
Give everybody a turn.
I wonder if it's snowing outside yet. Okay.
So we recently been hit with, we had a debit card theft, credit ID. My wife filed a report. We think it was online. We don't know how it happened, but we think it was online. Is there a way, now that the damage is done, is there a way that just out of our curiosity, my wife knows all the information, but is there a way that they find where the criminal, where they're at? Their like method where are they at one location and then they move, or is it? And they eventually catch them, or?
It varies. Hopefully, they do catch them, and that doesn't mean that there's somebody else that might not take their place. But it's just the idea, be precautious on all your stuff. And sometimes, like you say, you're doing everything right, and then you realize you're a victim. Do contact the sheriff's station. Do call this phone number on the back here. And, review. The best thing you can do is, like Gary said, put something on your account where the password is needed. Any kind of expertise that the bank can give you as far as what they suggest to make your account more secure, check everything. If you're calling into the bank daily, if all of a sudden you see $200 that doesn't belong there, check into this right away. Check your accounts. Don't let stuff, if you have an account you're not checking on for 6 months and you check on it and it's drained, check on stuff. quicker, more periodically. It really does help, and it'll alert you. So, and just, be more aware. Try to be more aware. Yeah, that's it.
All right, folks, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Any questions, on the side, please come on up. If you need any numbers or whatever, stop by and see us. We have plenty of brochures on the back there, so take some home for your friends and family and whatever extra ones you need. Please grab them. Thank you.
Thank you.